I mean, I've met with and walked with people whom 60 years later, they're still nursing the bitterness or the wound. And so, yes, it leaves a mark. So we're naive or deluded to say it doesn't. But healing is possible and a really necessary part, because otherwise we remain wounded, walking wounded, and either we just don't trust anyone again, or we may move on to have some external measure of success, but the inside of us is not okay.
Whenever we choose to be the victim of what happened, we're living in effect versus being at cause. And you're letting that thing hold you hostage. It's that Nelson Mandela quote of, when you have resentment against your enemies, it's like drinking poison, hoping to kill them, when the only person you're really poisoning is yourself. So healing starts with you. We have to know that anytime we're letting an event, something that happened, and we create meaning out of it, become the defining point of our life, that we're being held captive to that situation. So it's easier said than done. I would say I'm still healing. There's still parts of this story that are not finished, because there are some people in this story that I've actually not reconnected with. But I will say that it first started with forgiveness for myself, being able to say that, hey, I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. I made some mistakes. What was my part in co-creating this situation? And getting okay with that. The good news about endings, there's new beginnings on the other side of it. And it's choosing to take what happened and not define you, but how do I take these lessons, unpack it, and use it as a part of my launch point into a new future?
Yeah, because if you don't get what is your part in it, one of the podcast mentors of mine, he doesn't know he's a mentor, I just listen to him. He said when he's counseling couples through conflict, he'll draw a circle on the whiteboard and say, okay, if this pie represents all of what's wrong in your relationship, he'll say to that one person, draw me your slice, right? Even if it's a very thin sliver. And he said, if someone can draw even a sliver, I know we got something to work with. He said, but some will just refuse. And then what happens is, okay, well, I'm going to move on to the next relationship because this person's the problem. Right. You haven't diagnosed your part, which means you know what you're doing. You're bringing your part that you played in the breakdown unconsciously into the next relationship, assuming you're not bringing anything. So I think this idea of looking at that even as, as an entrepreneur, going, okay, what was my part to play? Even if, they didn't do right, or they did something not well, it was ignorance, it was stupidity, it was evil, whatever it was, what was my part? Doesn't mean I deserved that, but I played a part.